Hey guys, today is April the 9th of 2022, and I want to go over AppHarvest using cycle analysis, Elliott Wave, and other techniques to see what the chart is telling us. So without any further delay, let's get into it. Okay, you guys know that we have done a nice little wave up, and we hit a peak on March the 23rd, and since then it has been uh, making lower highs and lower lows. And this is where we at as of April the 8th. There are two cycles that are important in this data set. One is the dominant cycle, which is the 98, and the second one is the 329th cycle. Those are the two ones that are important in regards to the spectrum analyzer. So let's look at the 98. The 98 just peaked here on April the 8th, and it's saying that there's going to be a trough coming in on May the 27th, 28th, and then it goes back up and it hits a peak on July the 15th. If we take the 329th cycle, which is a bigger cycle as you can see, it peaks out somewhere around July the 10th, 11th, somewhere around there. When you take the 98 and the 329 cycle and create a composite, merge it together, this is the projection line you get forecast into the future. So there's a probability that we're going to get a little toppy here between April 18th, 19th, and then pull back into May 25th, and then hit a peak somewhere around July the 11th. As of right now, the data says that we hit a high of the 23rd and that we're pulling back in. So that's what the forecast in regards to cycle analysis is showing. Okay, this is our Elliott Wave chart. As you can see that we hit a wave 5 and we hit a 1, 2, 3. And right now we're in a process of making a wave 4. Let me put this indicator here. So a couple of things I'm noticing here. We have the 50 SMA right here, the 100. And if this is going to be a wave 4 somewhere around this week playing out, it needs to hold here. And if we're going to finish in a wave 5, possible targets of a wave 5 is at 744 and also this $9.09, somewhere around there. You say $9. We put some Fibonacci here. You can see that right here is at 482 was the 50%. It failed that. You got the 61.8 coming in right here at 431, lining up with the 50 SMA. So I can see that is some good support coming in. Hopefully it holds. And if that doesn't hold, then you have $3.73. And then obviously back to the where we started at 262. So this is going to be important for next week right here. And in regards to Elliott Wave count, these are the projection and targets going up there. Next thing I want to show you is the linear regression channel. We broke that, so that's a little weak. This is another target I have too, using the MOB, anywhere between the 658 and the 785 with the Elliott Wave targets. The ellipse technique is showing, indicating there's a probability that there might be a possible big move on the 14th. So keep an eye on that. Either 14, I give it a wiggle room of 14, 15, but definitely the 14th for possible big move. This is a trend line right here. If it pushes lower, yeah, it could go all the way down here and maybe even retest as low. I don't know how the Elliott Wave is going to be affected, the count, but we'll see how that plays out for next week. Stokes are negative. And what else I wanted to show you? I think that's about it. We'll go to the next clip. Okay, here we have the Gann Monthly Waves technique I use. And let's see how it's playing out. I had to readjust it because the way Gann explained it, I think you have to give it a gap from the starting point, so I had to readjust all of this. So this is what is forecasting, and this is where we at right now. We made a 3, a 4, 7, and now we're going 3 wave count, monthly wave count, and you see that it hits June, which is interesting that on the cycle analysis in June, that's where it peaks on June the 11th using the 328. And then you do the composite with the dominant cycle of 98. It all kind of leads up to June being hitting a peak of some source. I just wanted to show you that. Um, it's going to be interesting how it's going to play out. Next chart I want to go over is the simple glance. I'm going to start with the daily just to kind of show you what I'm seeing. This is a 1 month. So the value area high was at 607. The point of control was the 489, and we have failed that. And the value area low is somewhere around 458, and we closed at 441. As you know, there's a 50% there SMA. I mean, the 50 SMA, the 100 SMA. You can see that this was a key level right here, and we failed that 482. We closed below it. You're above the cloud. The linear regression channels is pointing, sideways to lower, and you had a PPS sell signal, so nothing's really positive on the daily, and the MACD is still negative. The last, the 6, 7, and 8 volume was very negative. So we'll see how that's going to play out. On the weekly, you just had a crossover in the MACD. The last 3 weeks of volume has been negative. We hit that $7 area and has turned back, been falling down since March the 23rd. We just got a PPS weekly sell signal here. So the candles are full bodies. The Hakanashis are, full. But the linear regression channel is pointing up. So if it continues pushing lower, there could be kind of support coming in here, in this kind of area right here, which kind of lands with the cloud and everything else down here, and all the other levels I was showing you. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to play out for next week. And on the 14th, there's a ellipse technique coming in that it could probably stall here and just kind of go sideways, and maybe on the 14th get a pop. And since Elliott Wave is saying this is the 4th wave, and if Elliott Wave is correct, then there should be a 5th wave coming up, which could kind of lead us, maybe going into May, going, into June up there, and maybe completing a wave 5. So that's all speculative. That remains to be seen. And the last clip I want to show you is the midpoint chart. You can see that on the daily, we're negative because we're below 493, which is normal with the volatility. On the weekly, we failed the $5.48, so it's negative, pushing lower. Those are possible targets to the downside if it pushes lower, if this doesn't hold. $4 and $3.83. And on the monthly, we're below the 50% range, previous range, which was at 529. So that was the key level there. You can see right here, right there. There's like a little cluster. And now we're below that. A possible support could be that 423 right here, or that 352 if ever it gets down there. That was a previous monthly 50% range right there. And that's our low right here. On the yearly, previous year was really nothing. So we're just dealing with this key level of 384. If it pushes lower, this 384 needs to hold. If it can't hold, chances are we're probably going to retest the low that we laid out here. So a lot things happening. So we'll see. That's my update. I'm still long as of 697 and 607 because I'm holding for the long term. I'm looking for higher prices into the future. So these are the things that happen uh, with volatility and cycles and everything. So hopefully you like this video. Just want to give you a quick update. So key levels you want to watch, and April 14th, the ellipse technique. Maybe it could be a big move. Hopefully it's up because I'm bullish. And you know already the cycles. June 11th, that's where it peaks from the 328, 329. And also we just hit a peak on the 98 dominant cycle. So let's see how it's going to play out. And I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on AppHarvest using the Gann price and time technical analysis.